Hello and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to show you how I made these 3 affordable Christmas decorations. I bought almost all of the items I use at the Dollar Tree with the exception of 3 items, 1 in each DIY, and of course the glue and the tools. I'm going to start with the window. For these, I used 6 11x14 picture frames from the Dollar Tree, and the first thing I did was remove the little metal pieces from the back, and I also removed the paper and the cardboard. Initially, I wanted to leave the glass in the frame, so I glue it with hot glue. But then I realized I kinda liked them more without it, so I ended up taking them off. If you would like to keep the glass, I would actually recommend using E6000 glue instead, since I realized the hot glue didn't hold too well. There are 2 ways you can arrange the window, with the frames vertically to make it wider or the frames horizontally to make it longer. I decided I wanted to make it wide, so I went with the frames vertically. Next, I place all the frames upside down and use E6000 glue to glue them all together. Since the frames are not perfectly straight, there were some gaps. To fix that, I just filled the gaps with more glue. Although it might look a little bit messy, don't worry because this will end up being the back part of the window. I'll let this dry for 2 days to make sure it was completely set. Next, I used this white chalk acrylic paint to paint the window. You can use regular acrylic paint if you don't like this finish. You can leave the window just like these and move to the next step. But I wanted to make it more window-like, so here comes an item that I didn't get from the Dollar Tree. I had my dad put together some base molding that he had at his house to look like a window frame. What he did was cut 2 pieces that measured 48.5 inches and 2 that measured 27.5 inches. Then he cut the ends vertically so all the pieces fit together perfectly to form a rectangle. He put it all together with a nail gun, but E6000 glue will work just as well as long as you let it set for 24 to 48 hours. Now use more E6000 glue to glue it to the frames. Now I'm moving on to the wreath. For these, I used some garland and a wreath I got from the Dollar Tree. I wrapped the garland in a circle 3 times the same size as the wreath. This is going to help as the base for our actual wreath. The idea is to make it look fuller but still have that look with the branches spiking out. Hot glue the garland together, then glue the wreath on top. To decorate the wreath, I used red and white holly berries and a few small pine cones. Lastly, I used twine to tie the wreath to the window. You can also use hot glue if you want to, but if you want to take the wreath off later, it might peel off the paint. to make a 3 feet tall Christmas tree. I started off with 3 of these 18-inch Christmas trees. Find the top of the tree where you can see the green thread. Then, with a pair of pliers, remove the top part to reveal the metal rod. With a small pair of pliers, reopen the rod if it got closed. I removed the bottom and the top of the second tree, then only the bottom part of the third tree. I'm using 3 of these wooden skewers to attach my trees together. I started by hot gluing one end of the skewers and placing them inside the top rod of the first tree. Next, I hot glued the top part of the skewers and inserted them inside the bottom rod of the second tree. Then I repeated the process one more time. The tree is looking pretty empty, but I'm about to fix that. To fill it up, I simply used some leftover garland from the previous DIY, cut it in small pieces, and hot glue them to the tree on the spots where it needed it. To decorate my Christmas tree, I hot glue some frosted red and gold holly berries. Then I also use a few pine cones and red and white holly berries that I had left from the previous DIY. To finish up the tree, I use floral foam and reindeer moss. My Dollar Tree didn't have a big enough base, so this is the only item I didn't get from the Dollar Tree. I used this white base I had from IKEA. For our last DIY, I'm going to show you how I made my Christmas lantern. I used 4 4x6 picture frames, and I started by removing the small metal pieces from the back with a small pair of pliers. Next, I used 6000 glue to glue the glass to the frame, and I let it dry for 1 hour. Now I used a hot glue gun to glue all the frames together to form the lantern. To make a base for the lantern, I measured and cut 2 pieces of the cardboard that came with the picture frame and glued them to the top. Next, I clean my lantern to get rid of any fingerprints or hot glue strings that might be on the glass. To decorate the lantern, I use a piece of garland and 2 boxes of snowflake fairy lights. don't have to do this, but I took off some of the snowflakes just because I wanted to have only a few here and there. The lights don't include batteries, so you're gonna need to get 2 AA batteries. Next, I loosely wrap the lights around the garland and place it inside the lantern. To decorate the lantern a little bit more, I use a few pine cones and flowers. Here's a tip, make sure you place the battery boxes in a place you can reach them easily, like the back of the lantern, so when you want to turn the lights on and off, you don't struggle looking for them. You can leave the lantern just like that, or you can add a candle. Dollar Tree has candles, but they are very small, so I added this one that I got from Michael's. And this brings us to the end. I hope you enjoyed this video and try to make one or all of these DIYs. As always, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and ring that notification bell.